Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is a real pleasure for me to do another episode of the LMTV Interop live from the show floor. And today is my great pleasure to have Brian Chee, who really needs no introduction, and Tim Titus, who is the co-founder and CTO of PathSolutions. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Dan.
Yeah, good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
So Brian, don't you ever get tired of this? Don't you ever get tired of helping struggling entrepreneur and make them rich? You're looking at a success example. You know that, right? You back in what was it? Do you remember? 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you were at Todd stage, and I walk in with a orange box under my arm, and the rest is history. You remember that story, Brian?
Oh yeah, you bet. I was actually working with you folks as an advisor for I don't know how long. And when I walked into Hot Stage one year, there were too many taps. We were running out of light. And I remembered all this that we've been talking about. And I called up your partner, Tom. Yes. And I actually called him at spring training. He was watching spring training.
He is. And he called me and he said, Danny, Danny, here's what I want you to do. You think you can do this? I said, let me try.
I said, Tom, are you guys ready to come out from behind the curtain?
Yeah.
And he said, let me talk to my partner.
Yeah.
That was the first time you guys came out publicly, wasn't it?
Yes. And the timing was perfect. But now, I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about Tim. And now Tim actually, unlike me, Tim is very, very technical, and he's been involved with InteropNet long before he started his own company. He was in fact an ITM, a very, very, I don't know, as we know, is an honor. But somehow he did that for a few years. We interviewed Tim, so I know a little bit of backstory. And and then he went off and disappeared and started his own company. And but he had a solution that was obviously important to you. Tell us about that.
Well, I think I got frustrated along with a lot of my peers about trying to troubleshoot networks, and that really in many cases there were a lot of tools but very few solutions. And what I mean by that is that you could spend forever trying to look for glitches in the network to try and find out what broke and still not come up with the answer. And the reason is that a lot of times you have sniffers that will confirm, gee, yeah, the sniffer says you're dropping packets. Where are those packets being dropped? I don't know. You have to search for those manually. And there were so many times where I figured you had to resort back to the CLI to look to find problems that I figured there's got to be some way of having all of this information, 10,000 error counters inside of an average switch. All of this information automatically brought back to tell you what's going on with my network. And when I realized that didn't exist, that's where I decided to say, okay, quit my day job, found a company, live on top ramen for a number of years, far too long if you ask my wife, but built something that I think we can be proud of. Also, a lot of engineers have said, yeah, this is the way you do root cause troubleshooting, because you can find the problems. And so I'm honored by the fact that our customers are up here on stage talking about our product. We don't have to talk about it. We figure, okay, let our customers tell the stories of how does this solve problems. And one of those customers, somebody I've known for a number of years, is Brian.
So my story is a little different. I'm entrepreneurial also, but the entrepreneurism that I pursue is more in the hard sciences. So I'm doing a lot of work with the University of Hawaii School of Ocean, Earth Science and Technology, and providing consulting and analytics to the researchers, trying to find emerging technologies and match them to research, because there's never enough research money to go around, and you have to do better with less. And one of the things that I was doing is I was trying to figure out how to make an underwater observatory, 3 miles underwater, 7,000 pounds per square inch of pressure, how to make that data center underwater just as reliable as the data centers on land. So one of the things I was looking at was, how the heck am I going to be able to go and possibly even offer a service level agreement to the researchers, because they're spending an awful lot of money. Let's put this in perspective. Ship time is about $30,000 a day. Deep water ROVs, ones that are capable of going down that deep, are close to $40,000 a day to run. That's not buying it, that's renting it. So this is an abhorrently expensive endeavor, with pressure housings costing, just the bare pressure housing costing a couple $100,000. People want it to work. They want their applications. They want to be able to do their science. They don't want the network in the way. And PathSolutions has given me the ability to go and monitor all my key equipment. And I don't have to have custom MIBs. I can use the standard CDP, LLDP, and standard SNMP with error counters that are built into every SNMP stack, and be able to go and find out. In fact, one of the things we found out when we first installed the system was, where's all that traffic coming from? Someone had actually misconfigured a machine that was spewing all kinds of garbage onto our net, and we hadn't noticed it. PathSolutions, Tim, when we were inside, goes, hey, what's that? I go, holy smokes, we forgot all about that machine. And we quickly turned it off and the network cleaned up. More recently, we found out that a piece of equipment, a Linux-based machine, it has two Ethernet interfaces, and we're bridging them together. And so ETH0 was at 100 meg, ETH1 was at 100 meg, but bridge was at 10. So we had this goofy bottleneck, and I found that right in the daily weather report from PathSolutions. Really, really compelling tools that allow me to concentrate on the science.
Hey, Brian, I'm sort of a technologist as well, although I don't like to play one on TV. I prefer to be a non-technologist. But pretend that I'm a customer, a potential customer, just happened to walk by your booth or walk by Tim's booth, and today is my first time to hear the phrase root cause troubleshooting. Now that's a change of paradigm, if I understand it correctly. So what exactly does that mean? Maybe the two of you could kind of just kind of put it in. I understand the motivation, I understand the history, but pretend that I don't know. I never heard of root cause troubleshooting, and I just wanted to kind of capture a few sentences so I can bring it back to my boss.
Sure. I actually like starting off by telling people it's all about perspective, putting problems in perspective, being able to see the forest from the trees. In my mind, root cause troubleshooting allows me to go and say, I'm tired of treating just symptoms. I'm putting out fires constantly in my day-to-day job. I want to find out the root cause, what's really causing this problem. And I want to be able to leverage my scarce human resources so that I can leverage my scarce research money. So by having the ability to send out these daily weather reports and be able to have the network prescriptions that are in plain English, instead of telling someone, oh, I've got tons of frame errors, what does that mean? I can have a student that's helping out, and wow, we've got frame errors. Oh, that's probably a bad cable. And it'll not only that, it'll tell me what port that cable's on. Being able to leverage less expensive techs means my more expensive engineers can concentrate on the hard stuff, like custom drivers or building storage area networks or building software-defined networks. Being able to more effectively use my scarce resources.
And how has Tim's solution changed your lifestyle more accurately? How does it change your lifestyle? Working at the NOC, working at InteropNet.
I haven't been to the beach in close to 15 years. But what it does mean is now the plain English explanations are plain enough that even my PhDs can understand them.
That's awesome.
Oceanographers can understand what's going on with their network.
Wow.
And that's it. Concentrate on the science. We never have enough money, so we have to concentrate on it.
I see. So what are you doing now? I understand that you're actually you actually have scheduled some FaceTime with some of Tim's customer, and you actually are doing a Q&A at the booth, right, Brian?
Yeah, sorry. So Tim wanted me to share my experience and share my enthusiasm about his product. And we thought a really good way of doing it is talk to other enthusiastic users, some key players within his customer base. And, so we're having this nice conversation on stage and trying to share and convey our experiences and our joy of maybe Brian can actually get a little more sleep because his problems solved.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by lifestyle.
Yeah, every morning I get my my
basics. Yeah, basic stuff like sleeping. Yeah, and perhaps taking a shower now. Yeah.
You asked how he stays looking so young. Well, maybe sleep.
Yeah. So you're doing that on all 3 days. You did that yesterday, right? You did that already yesterday.
That today. The last presentation is when I get to talk about the science of Station Aloha and the Aloha Cable Observatory.
I see.
It has been a fairly popular talk, and people are really curious about things that deep underwater. Nobody gets to see 3 miles underwater on a regular basis, and my link is public. And if your viewers want to look and see some of the stuff, you can go to Aloha, ALOHA, .manoa, MANOA, .hawaii.edu and follow the links to live.
And I can understand that. There are two things that excites me. One is gigabit Ethernet underwater, and the other one is gigabit Ethernet inside a tank, inside a fighting vehicle. I mean, those things are really intriguing to me. So Tim, how is the show so far?
Actually, the show's been incredible. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new equipment presented. We put our new TotalView 6 out there as well, so we have some interesting stuff happening. We won the award for Interop's most social exhibitor. So our staff that does our tweeting, got to give a thumbs up to them because they know what they're doing, and we're getting a lot of folks talking about our turtle. So now, I don't know if
I just want to point out one thing now. Most struggling entrepreneurs at best have a 10x10 booth, and often they just have maybe a tiny coffee table with now you actually have a sizable booth, but I think people should understand that you didn't do that because you had a bunch of VC money. This is actually paid for by your happy customers.
Exactly. This is all real revenue. This is kind of our hockey stick year where we're getting a lot of people looking and saying, "Oh, this is what I've been looking for a long time." And it's, I gotta say, it's you never do anything in life for money. You do things in life for passion, and it's that being able to connect with other engineers and say, "Yes, this is what they wanted me to build." Hearing from Brian saying, "This is what I've needed all along." That's just fantastic because it means that the right thing has been built and that we're able to end up building more of that for folks. So it's exciting the fact that we've gone from that 10x10, we're up at a 30x30 this year, and we're impressing a lot of folks and saying this is really a unique solution that hasn't been done before that makes it just real easy to solve problems. It makes me think it's like, gee, there's thousands of network engineers out there that are getting more sleep. They aren't getting woken up at 2 a.m. in the morning, and the basic problems in their network go away, and they're able to have a better lifestyle.
And they might even recognize they're growing kids. That's amazing.
That too.
Yeah. Now, I do want to ask a question, and I noticed that on your website as well as other collateral, you talk about VoIP monitoring, and then you talk about root cause troubleshooting. Now, is your product strictly limited to VoIP, or is it VoIP just one application?
No, it's actually kind of a unique position as to what we've taken. As the world of the data network folks and the VoIP folks really merge together, the problem has really come up is that there's a lot of VoIP tools that end up saying, oh, the problem's in the data network. And then there's the data network solutions that end up saying, no, everything's healthy, it must be a problem with the VoIP phone system. And so you have these two diverging views of where is the problem actually happening. And what we found is build the solution so that it answers the need for both of these teams so that they can work collaboratively and say, oh, the problem is right here due to this jumbo frame misconfiguration on this one port on this switch. That's what's causing our voice problems. That way they can both work together with the plain English answers helping the VoIP guys out, because VoIP guys, you know, they're learning about networking and learning about IP. That's not their core competency to begin with. And you have now networking folks that are starting to learn about VoIP. And it's like this allows both teams to work together at finding the faults rather than pointing fingers at each other, because their tools are saying it's over that way, it's over that way, it's precisely here.
Okay. Now you're also you have scheduled, if I understand right, you have scheduled 2 sessions this afternoon, yes. Right? That's your sessions, right?
Correct. So okay. Today I'm going to apologize. I got to check my schedule here because I'm.
It's in the afternoon. It's in the afternoon. I think they're back to back. Yeah.
Today, Wednesday, and what we've got is at 2 p.m. in the NOC Theater. It's all about root cause troubleshooting the InteropNet and kind of what we're doing with InteropNet, some of the interesting things we found, and really about pre-troubleshooting. Pre-troubleshooting is what we did at Interop Hot Stage, where you set up the network and very quickly have to find out where are the problems so that we can fix this before it actually goes to the show. So we're going to do some really neat pre-troubleshooting there, and we're going to share that at the NOC, the Interop NOC Theater at 2 p.m. And then at 3 p.m. we're talking about root cause troubleshooting relating to tool selection and also methodology.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time. We don't need to draw on that today. I think there's plenty of opportunity, Tim, for you to come back to Love My Tool and do that as on a different episode. We can really drill down on that. So, but suffice to say that if you are in Vegas right now, and you should come by to visit both Tim and Brian. What's your booth number, Tim?
1651, 1651.
1651. So just come by and learn something. All right. Cool. And I suppose you're not you're staff with technologists yet. You don't have a whole bunch of marketing guys yet. So if people come to your booth, they actually get to talk to people who know what they're talking about. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Correct. We're mostly all geeks. It's
all geeks. Yeah, geeks to geeks. Yeah.
Even our salespeople, we kind of make sure we have some geek involved with with them, because we figure we want them to understand folks and not be typical sales. So we're very specific about getting the right.
That should be a good reason enough to visit you guys. So Brian, go ahead, Brian.
I just want to add for your viewers, you can also see some of what PathSolutions is doing on the InteropNet tour. All you have to do is go to the NOC. It's got a big giant NOC sign hanging above it, and it's on the show floor. You can sign up for the tours at the network services desk, and we'll give you a behind-the-scenes tour of the InteropNet, and PathSolutions is definitely a large part of that.
Very
okay.
Cool.
Right. There's so much to do. And today is really the highlight. And usually the first day people run around like crazy, and then they really enjoy the second day, and the third day they're so damn tired anyway. So Brian, before we close, I don't want to make this a very long show, because I want people to just catch it and be able to participate. But I do want to take a step back and get some perspective from you, Brian. You've been at this now for what, 20 years?
This is my 20th year of working at Interop.
I know.
I don't even know how to count how many years I've been in the industry. My first job was wire wrapping boards for IMSI 8080s, for God's sakes.
We can have a whole show talk about wire wrapping. Nobody knows what you're talking about, Brian.
But, yeah, I got started in 1995.
Hey, you better have it just right behind you. Say hello, man. Hey, listen. So give us a quick. What do you? I mean, this is remarkable. Interop has changed so much. Name has changed. Owner has changed. Everything else has changed. What as you look back and look forward, what is so special about this year?
Well, Interop in general is special because of the community. It's where people put aside their brand hats and work together to make the industry a much, much better place. The InteropNet team over the years has actually been involved with the vast majority of the internet standards. Heck, the Norwegian contingent was actually responsible for IP over AV and carrier, carrier bridges. And the team has done an amazing amount towards educating the general public. What is the network? What are the real expectations? How do things work together? It's that learning process that is the reason why I keep coming back year after year after year. Heck, I actually dedicate close to 2 months of every year out of my life to working on the show. I walk my feet till they're raw. I'm responsible for a lot of the fiber optics. It's an amazing, amazing amount of work, but it is in many ways responsible for where I am today. You know, having that experience, having the ability to draw upon the community of engineers. I always say the best engineers aren't the ones that know it all. They're the ones that know who to call.
No, I like that. I like that. Well, hey Tim. So in case people are watching this after the show and they miss it, or they just want to learn more, how do they do that? How do they? What's your website?
Best way is just go to our website, www.PathSolutions.com. PATH, like walking down a path.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good. And I suspect that we'll have lots of opportunity to work together in the future. I'm excited about that. So thanks again, Tim, and thank you, Brian. So
thank you, Dave.
All right. So go back to work.
Okay. Take care.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.